Woods & Woods, an Evansville law firm representing veterans nationwide in their VA disability appeals. Woods & Woods is also the Tour of Honor sponsor for the 10th anniversary Honor Flight of Southern Indiana. Information at theveteransfirm.com. Browning Funeral Home and Cremation Center, serving families for 70 years. In times of loss, Browning guides families in creating a meaningful remembrance and believes every life has a story to be told. Learn more at browningfuneral.com.
Our purpose was to get local veterans one last chance to see the memorials that were built for them.
We've flown over 1,000 veterans here from Southern Indiana and the Tri-State.
It's like a field trip, probably the best field trip.
I'll tell you, it was quite an experience, and I know a lot of other people didn't have that experience, but I was blessed, I'll tell you.
Production funding for A Monumental Honor, celebrating the honor flight of Southern Indiana, is provided in part by Woods & Woods, an Evansville law firm representing veterans nationwide in their VA disability appeals. Woods & Woods is also the Tour of Honor sponsor for the 10th anniversary Honor Flight of Southern Indiana. Information at theveteransfirm.com. And by Shonda Lynch and Chad Schmidt, Bianca Snyder, and other generous donors. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
The very first honor flight was started in 2004 in Ohio. They dedicated the World War II Memorial in 2004, which was 60 years after the war was completed. There's over 130 hubs across the United States. We've got 4 here in the state of Indiana: Indianapolis, Lafayette, Evansville, and Fort Wayne. And we were the 133rd hub to start. We started in 2014, and since then we've flown over 1,000 veterans here from Southern Indiana and the Tri-State.
The initiative was try to get local veterans we have a 14 county area that we cover. And our purpose was to get local veterans one last chance to see their memorials that were built for them, whether it be Vietnam or World War II or Korea. So we wanted to give them one last mission to honor them and to get them out there to see their memorials.
So it was very unlikely that many of the World War II veterans were going to be able to go to Washington, D.C. on their own. Being 80, you're probably already retired, probably on fixed income, may have health issues.
We do 2 flights a year, usually one in April, one in October, in that time frame. We do 86 veterans and 86 guardians.
I've helped with all of them. I've been on right at about half of them. I was on the very first flight. I was a bus captain on flights 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then I've been on several flights since then.
Rolling Thunder is a POW MIA organization, and we help veterans in the local area. So we got involved with Honor Flight back in 2014 when they had their first flight.
I heard about it way back when they first started and signed up, but I see it on TV, I read it in the newspaper about the Honor Flight, and I really appreciate what they're doing for us veterans. I've been waiting all this time. Finally, it's come my turn.
I personally have been involved with Honor Flight since EVV2, just by making a monetary donation. And then I went to the parade, the Welcome Home Parade, and that was the first time I've ever experienced it. I was just overwhelmed.
I went on the very first one, EVV1, in October of 2014. My father was a World War II veteran, so he asked me to go as his guardian. So I learned all about Honor Flight. I saw what it meant to the veterans, and then I just started volunteering with them.
I started on EVV2. My first flight was May of 15, I think it was. And I just kind of dabbled in it. I was just doing a couple of the events. And then they asked me to come back. So I've been here since the second flight.
Well, before I went to the airport for the return flight for 3 and 4, and I knew somebody were on those flights, and I saw what went on, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. So I enrolled between 3 and 4. I enrolled it for a flight, and then I got called for flight 6, and went for that.
We have a list of, I think it's somewhere around 1,000 veterans that are waiting to get on these flights. So we start getting, and we take them by age, and the only one that goes before the age, or if we have a medical terminal illness and things like that, they go to the head of the line right away. It doesn't make a difference if they're 25 or 40 or whatever.
If we have a veteran that might be younger that wouldn't normally be called, but they have a terminal illness and wouldn't be able to wait until their flight comes up, we try to prioritize them and move them to the top.
When we get ready to call, about 12 weeks before the flight, we start with the oldest in our database and just keep calling till we get our 86 veterans. It doesn't matter what time period they served, it doesn't matter during what conflict area, what branch of service they served. So that's what makes them eligible.
Some say they don't deserve it, but if they volunteer or got drafted or they volunteered and they served the country, they deserve it, so they should go.
I was contacted by Sue Bingert, and she, wonderful lady. She is just awesome for the job she does, and they sent me a thing in the mail and invited me to go on the honor flight, and I wasn't sure I'd be able to go because they usually are sending people between 77 and 79 now.
Applying is just filling out an application form. At that time, I don't think we had it online. I think I had to write fill out a paper one. And then the next thing, they called me, and I was kind of shocked. I got on so quick after I been on there.
Yeah, I got a call on it and wanting to know if I was interested in going and so forth. So I signed up to go in the spring, but come down here, got interviewed, got all the paperwork done and all that. And about a week before we had our dinner, I ended up in the hospital. I had a blockage and they put a stent in it, so I didn't get to go in the spring. So I got the opportunity to come and try to go in the fall, so I thought I'd go ahead and take advantage of it because you never know.
Honor Flight's a great program. Actually, I've tried to get on the Honor Flight for 2 years with my brother. My brother is a year older than I am, and he lives in Duluth, Minnesota, but we wanted to go together. Actually, all 3 of us wanted to go together, but my oldest brother died. So I figured I better get on this flight.
We first give them a call, and then when we give them a call, we bring them in for interviews. We interview not only the veteran, but the guardian too.
That day alone was pretty neat. You see all the other veterans with their guardians around, and they were just you see them just kind of sharing stories a little bit, and they asked my dad some questions about what all he did in the military and stuff and things like that. And so it was a neat day. It kind of got you in the spirit of the flight a little bit.
I would say that on our interview day, we're not necessarily interviewing the veteran to disqualify them to go on the flight. We're actually interviewing them to make sure that we can accommodate them, whether they're on oxygen, in a wheelchair, any kind of disability. We've taken veterans that are deaf, blind, completely immobile in wheelchairs, and we've been able to accommodate just about anything that somebody can have. We really try very hard to accommodate everybody and take them on this flight because they deserve to go.
You have to, give them a list of your medicine, tell them what your medical problems are, so they're prepared. If you have an issue, they know what to do and how to take care of it. And there's always medical personnel there.
And everybody there has to have a chair to sit in, whether you're ambulatory or not. The reason for that is that some of the people are older and some of them can't walk very well.
We had to go through wheelchair training, and really all it was kind of like a dinner, and they basically told you what to do and what you can't do, and then taught you how to push your veteran through with the wheelchair. It was neat, it was fun. Just kind of speak with the other guardians and stuff like that, and just kind of get to know the wheelchair in itself, because it's a little bit different wheelchair than what you see in a hospital.
Well, I was very excited. I mean, like I say, my brother went on one back in 16, 17, somewhere then, and I was diagnosed back then with the emphysema and everything, and we tried to go together, but it wasn't feasible at that time. So I've been waiting ever since then to try to get in, and my wife just signed up here about 2 years ago, and then we decided we were going to try to go together, and both of us, our health is deteriorating, and we get to go together now. So that's going to be very exciting.
I'd like to see the Women's Memorial. I received notification years ago when they first opened that, and I wanted to go, but with 4 small children, it was kind of economically impossible for me to go. But I'd like to see all the memorials that they have for the veterans, because a lot of times the veterans don't get the thank yous and the pats on the back.
Normally the guardians are selected by the veteran, so if you have a family member, neighbor, somebody in your church, or somebody that you want to go with, they can be signed up as your guardian. But you don't have to have your own guardian. We have a long list of people that have just signed up to be guardians. So if you for some reason don't have somebody that you want to specifically go with, we can certainly fill that spot for you.
I have put my application in to be a guardian for another flight, because I enjoy doing things for other people. So this is one of my ways of doing that.
If they call me up tomorrow and say, hey, could you go again, I would.
We have our meet and greet, and that's usually done at Coliseum. This is the first time that all the veterans and all the guardians come together, and we set them according to their bus, red, white, blue, and gold. We usually have a guest speaker that comes in and talks to them. We pass out our honor flight coin to them. Each one of the veterans gets an honor flight coin.
They presented each veteran a challenge coin, and that was the first time I saw my dad get teared up about the whole situation. Other than that, I mean, he was fine, but whenever they presented him that challenge coin, that meant something to him.
It's one of the first times that everybody gets to be together. Everybody meets everybody. The way they divide it, they divide the tables into the bus colors, so you get to know who's going to be on your bus. Some people see each other that they haven't seen in a long time. All of us volunteers, usually we know somebody. I either went to high school with one of the guardians, or they're bringing their dad. So yeah, it's really important, and I think they love it. I mean, it's just a great experience.
I think the interviews and the meet and greets are probably my 2 favorite, because you get to actually talk to them and get their experiences from when they were in the military, whether it be Korea. We don't get a lot of World War II veterans anymore. And being a Vietnam vet myself, I like talking to other Vietnam vets that are going on the flight and everything. So it's cool when you can talk to people and you understand where they've been. And they know that you understand, so they just kind of open up to you. It's pretty neat.
In the service, I was stationed in Germany, so I got to see Germany. I was in the 43rd Field Artillery, and we was in Charlie Battery, and we got to be one of the tightest outfits over there. Our field sergeant said that we was going to break records, and he said, if you're not qualified, I don't want you in my outfit. So it was kind of a different experience going through all of it, because he didn't put up with much.
I wanted to go in the Air Force because of the electronic experience I was hoping to get in schooling, which I did. So we were attached basically to the 4th Infantry Division, which was stationed at Fort Lewis at the time in 1961. And, but anyway, there was a couple of observers that got the call to go to Vietnam.
I was in medical school. I enlisted for 2 reasons. Number 1, I needed money. And number 2, my father was in the Second World War, and he spent 2.5 years in Europe. And he had a very good experience. I volunteered to go to Vietnam. My feeling was that if those young kids can be over there fighting for, quote, my freedom against communism, I can be over there to do what I can to help them.
I'm glad that I did join the military when I did, because it really made me grow up, and I needed to do that even though I was 22 at the time. It helped me. It kind of made a boy a man, I guess you'd say.
We are just blessed with amazing volunteers and community support. If we didn't have the community support and the volunteers, we couldn't pull this off.
You might think along the way that the community support might start to wane a little bit, but it doesn't. I mean, each time we get ready to go, we have people come out, volunteers come out. It's really been amazing to see how the tri-state area still wants to support our veterans.
I went out to the museum here in the town, and I was out there and they was talking about it. So I got involved in it there, and then I belonged to SWRCA, and they had a big thing on Veterans Day, so I signed up for it when I was there.
I've had lots of positive experiences. I've really enjoyed working with the veterans. Of course, our volunteer staff is great to work with. Not all of our volunteers are veterans, so it's certainly good to just work with a lot of people in the community.
A friend of mine was a volunteer, and she had mentioned that they were needing photographers for Honor Flight and wondered if I'd be interested. And I looked into it, and I had never heard of Honor Flight before, so it's like, that sounds really cool. So I went to one of the meetings, introduced myself, and then after a few meetings, they invited me to do the meet and greet, the send-off and welcome home for EVV2, and I was hooked.
My son and I went. He went as my guardian. He's a teacher at Central, and we just had a great time.
My guardian was a friend of I was dating a lady over the years from Owensboro, and she had a daughter, and I picked her to be my guardian. So she went with us, just seeing the memorials and actually showing her around. She had never been to Washington, D.C. before. So I kind of enjoyed kind of showing her some of the details and so on and so forth, and informing her what was going on. So I enjoyed that part.
My father was an Army veteran. He asked me if I would want to accompany him to the honor flight, and I told him I would be honored to do that. That's how I got involved with it all.
It's just a great opportunity for the younger generation to just hang out with these veterans. I mean, I always say if you give them a moment to talk, they'll talk. And it's just letting the younger generation know what these men and women did. Sometimes we lose that, and I think this is a great opportunity for those parade escorts. So, if they want to be a parade escort, they can be participating in the parade by holding the posters.
I think it's a wonderful education process. These young kids need to know that these memorials are here because of these men and women that you're talking to. I said, that's why you're here. That's why they're here. And just to educate them on our past history, I think that's huge, because I think we're kind of slipping away from that.
But what I'm impressed with on the honor flight was the volunteers. They are amazing. I mean, they put in a lot of hours and really take care of the veterans big time. I mean, I didn't expect that. Whatever you wanted, they took care of you. I mean, it was great. All the volunteers. If you need any help for anything, they were right there. Yeah.
Now, most of these people, their volunteers may not have military backgrounds at all. They just are appreciative of what was done.
Everybody has some form of gift. You know, my hobby when I was starting out was photography, and so if taking pictures for the veterans and their families is something that I can do, I'm going to do it, and I'm glad I've had the experience.
We have literally many volunteers just come in and just do whatever it takes to get it done, whether it's feeding the veterans or taking them for their interviews, taking them, sitting at their tables when they come in for the meet and greet. It's just like a beehive. It's just, we got volunteers everywhere. It's amazing how it works.
I've always joked with the veterans from, probably since EBV4, when I really got involved. I gained 86 grandparents from this flight. And because you develop a friendship. They put it, they recognize you when you're out in the public, and they'll come up and they'll say, "Do you remember me?" And it's just, it's a very, very rewarding experience, not only for the veterans and their family, but for the volunteers as well.
What inspired me was, I think it was my dad. He's passed away, but he was in World War II in the Navy. And I had the opportunity to escort him on a couple of his Navy reunions. And they were so much fun. The veterans were just wonderful people.
Well, it starts early. It starts about 5 o'clock in the morning. The veterans come in. We have a little meal for them there that's usually provided by one of our sponsors. Once that's done, we start getting them together. We get them on the plane.
It's a very early morning. We get to the airport, Evansville Dress Regional Airport, about 5:15 in the morning. Fly on a chartered aircraft directly to Washington, D.C. We get on 4 nice 50-passenger buses that have the wheelchair lifts that can accommodate elderly patients and elderly veterans.
That morning of the flight, it was kind of a hectic morning. I mean, we had to be there at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning a.m. And so me and my wife, we head over to my dad's house, pick him up. We head to the airport. And as soon as we get to the airport, they were greeting him like crazy. Everybody was around him, applauding him, shaking his hand, stuff like that.
On our flight, there were 2 nurses, lovely nurses, and they were 101 and 102 years old. And there were some in their 90s, some in their 80s.
So I had 3 high school buddies that we graduated from Modern Day in 1960, went on this honor flight.
It was a wonderful flight. We left her early in the morning, and a large American Airlines jet took us around, I think, 9-ish, something like that, and it was about an hour trip. And we got there, and my youngest daughter was my guardian.
Another thing that was kind of surprising when we got off the plane at DC, when we went through the terminal, the number of people that were waiting in the terminal and waving hi and one shake your hand, and I didn't expect that. I figured we'd just go into the terminal and out to the bus and so on forth.
Once we stepped off the plane in DC, I had no idea what to expect. And we walked into hundreds of people cheering these veterans on as they got off the plane. And it just made my heart so happy. And the flags were flying, and the Girl Scouts were there, the Boy Scouts were there, just people off the street, volunteers. And I thought, wow, this is really, really cool.
As soon as we got off the plane, again, it's people we didn't even know applauding him, telling him thank you. They had a musical quartet there and singing, patriotic songs. And it was just, as soon as you walk in to the airport, that's what you saw and what you heard.
And then we start out World War II Memorial usually. When we get there, we get them all in a group picture, and they have their big photos with them. So we put those on the plane, take them with us, and they start there and they take their group photo there. And that kind of puts those up. We don't have to worry about them anymore. And then they travel to the Korean and Vietnam memorials. They get to release them for a while, and the guardians push them around, go to the memorials so they can see those. We get back in the buses. We go over to the cemetery, and we watch the changing of the guards.
Him, an unknown soldier. That was another thing that stood out to me, really, of how precise them soldiers are on the march and the changing of the guard and stuff like that. That was really, really neat.
We go see the World War II Memorial, the Lincoln, Korean, Vietnam. We normally do a driving tour, which includes the Smithsonian, Ford Theater, Pentagon, the White House, Capitol Building, several other buildings that we get to drive through.
We visited all the memorials, and they are impressive. The Second World War Memorial is the largest. Do you know how many people died in the Second World War? Male soldiers? 400,000. What's the population of Evansville? 150,000? 4 times the population of this city. Just think about that.
We go to the Air Force. We do drive-bys for the Air Force Museum. A lot of times it's still under construction a little bit. If we have time, we stop at the Navy Museum, let them get out, walk through the museum. We do stop by the Women's Memorial. Just came on board here the last year or two.
I had been to Washington, D.C. in 1966, yes, summer 66, and saw all the sites, but they didn't have any of the memorials back then. And so I hadn't seen any of the war memorials at all. The only one that was there was the Navy Memorial and the Iwo Jima Memorial.
I had never seen the Air Force Memorial. That was something that it really impressed me. And the Korean Memorial brought out other stories that I had seen it before, but I had never really paid much attention to it. So it was more of a renewal than anything. Besides the places that regular veterans go to, we snuck off and went down and saw the FDR and Martin Luther King sections too.
I knew one person that got killed in the Vietnam War, and so I was anxious to, when I went to the honor flight, to see his name on the wall, which I did find, and took a picture of. So that was Tom Reeser was the name. He was a pilot and got shot down over in Vietnam and got killed. So I knew him, so I desperately wanted to see his name on the wall. So it was kind of sad situation, but it was important to me.
I'm interested in seeing some of the names and everything on the different monuments. I had a few cousins that was in World War II, so I thought maybe I might be able to even find some of those.
I think my dad's favorite one was probably the Vietnam Wall. I think he was taken by surprise of that wall, and so was I. I couldn't believe how tall it was in the middle section. And my dad made a comment, a lot of good guys died here. And he's right. I mean, it was a very touching moment for him, I do believe, just to see the magnitude of the wall and the magnitude of the names on that wall. And you know, it was very, it's unbelievable. If you've never seen it before, it's something that I think every American should go see it eventually.
Vietnam Memorial was the Black Wall. I mean, obviously I treated some of those people that died. I didn't know who they were. If that was your buddy's name up there, it's a very moving experience. I just felt a loss of what these people could have been and what families they would have had or what families they left behind.
I like to get emotion, most of it happy. And it's usually happy, but yeah, I have caught several tears. That's why I love to do what I do. It's emotional and it hits you in your heart. I try not to invade somebody's personal space, and I think with photography, and especially in that moment, it's a tough call, but I could take the picture without them knowing, and then later on when I'm processing, I look at it and I'm thinking they're probably in a lot of pain right now. They're bringing back some memories that they don't want to relive.
Little sad times when you see the memorial, some of them, especially some of the guys that lost buddies that were actually in Vietnam fighting were in our flight group, and seeing a tear every once in a while, it made you just kind of somber for a while, and then you get your emotions back up again and have some fun and laughing about stories and stuff that people start telling. So it was kind of up and down, but mostly up.
The most movement part for me was just being there with my dad and just sharing that moment with him. He served in wartime, but he never did go to war. He's always told me that he was probably a couple hours away to going to Vietnam.
This last flight, it was a lot of Vietnam vets. The Vietnam Memorial was very, very emotional. And I always carry a tissue with me because I know I'm going to need it while I'm out taking pictures. But yeah, the Vietnam Memorial was very emotional this last trip.
It's a long day. We wrap it back up. We bring them back to the airport. We feed them supper there, get on the plane, come back to Evansville.
And it's very, very organized. And if somebody were to take a trip there, it would probably take them 3 or 4 days, but we did it in about roughly 12 hours.
What was not really tugged at you was the mail call on the plane. When you got to read letters and cards from all over, and especially the kids, I mean, that's tugged at your heart to read some of the stuff they wrote on those little cards and stuff. And we're talking, you know, 3rd, 4th graders or something like that, especially those, and maybe even some of your 1st graders, and that printed and stuff. That was really great. Warm feeling in your heart.
About 70% of it is from grade school kids. That's pretty curious and fun to read. And I kept them for a long time.
A lot of them, I did see some tears shed from some of the other veterans on the flight on the way back home. So yeah, I think it was special for them.
Little bitty baby hands made that, so that probably came from like a kindergarten or 1st grader. And I just hope that they realize the impact that this is. I mean, you can just tell on their faces that they really, really appreciate this.
They handed all the mail call out on the plane on the way back home. Dad, he basically got it and just held on to it. A lot of the other veterans on the planes, or on the plane, was opening up and looking at him. I said, Dad, you want to look at yours? And I was kind of sitting across the aisle from him. And he said, no, I'm going to wait until I get home. Okay. So whenever we got home, the next day I came back over and we went through it all. And, you know, that's when we went through the whole bag kind of, and plus the milk call stuff. And I think he was touched about it. I think he really enjoyed it.
Come back to Evansville, get him off the plane, takes about a half an hour to 45 minutes, get him in line. We have usually one of the grandkids or something that carries a photo of him, walks in front of him, and we do a parade of heroes through the airport and everything, come back out, so it's pretty cool. I had a gentleman, he is a World War II vet, so soon he's going to be 100 years old. And he wasn't able to go on a flight, but we brought him out as our parade marshal. We're starting to do that. We get some of the older veterans and let them be the parade marshal. And he was just young at heart, just talk your head off once you get him started and everything. Just a really nice gentleman, and it was nice to sit down and talk to him about his experiences in World War II.
Come back home to Evansville and we have a welcome home parade, and they're usually done about 8 or 9 o'clock that evening. So it's a very long day. It's about a 16-hour day when it's all said and done.
With liberty and justice for all.
When they sing the national anthem and the whole entire airport chimes in and everybody's singing, you just can't help but tear up. So even just taking your kids, your grandkids, putting some red, white, and blue on them, bringing a flag, just welcoming the veterans home is huge.
When we got back to the airport and you walk out from back there and see all the people there waiting, I don't know how many were, but a couple thousand, I guess, or maybe even more, I don't know. But seeing all those people there, waving them with the signs and so forth, it just warms your heart. And it was really great. I mean, it was the best part, I think, was that coming back, and that was terrific.
The airport was full from side to side, top to bottom almost. I mean, it was unbelievable. They were even outside. That's how many people were at the airport. So yeah, it was really, really neat to see the outpour and support from the community here in Evansville.
I don't come from a military family, and when I went to that welcome home parade, I've always had my faith, family, and God and country, and I've always been very, so thankful for our veterans. And when I saw just the outlove of love and support of people just coming out to cheer these veterans on, I was like, wow, this is awesome. I want to be part of this.
Then we take about a month and a half break, and then we bring them back in for their reunion. And we bring them all back in again, and this time we have all their photo books together, because we take 2 photographers with us and we take a media person with us. And when that happens, then we put all those books together, all the pictures, and then we give each one of them a book.
It's fun to see like 2 or 3 of the veterans together and just opening the book and I hope that when they do that, they're looking at a picture that possibly I captured that made them feel good about themselves or made them remember a memory from the trip. And that's pretty much our goal as photographers, is to make sure that we bring good memories, happiness, capture their day correctly and with a little bit of love.
It's a way, you tell our veterans, thank you for your service. We say those words a lot, but this is a way to put action behind those words, and that's what I saw, that this is another way to show them our respect and appreciation for what they did.
It has affected me personally in so many different ways. I think the number one thing is that if this is just one little thing that I can do for what they have done for us, I mean, it's really nothing. They are constantly, all day, thanking me thanking the photographers, thanking everybody for what we do. It's like, no, thank you, you know, thank you for what you've done for us.
It was a lot of fun. And it's something that I'll never forget, and I'm glad I did it with my dad.
I'd like to thank the Honor Flight of Southern Indiana, all the volunteers, which was amazing. I mean, it did such a great job. Didn't expect that much from it, but anything you wanted, plenty of food, whatever, I took care of you. I mean, it was fantastic.
Well, I want to thank the Honor Flight. I certainly will attend every one of their events if I have the opportunity.
It was just a delightful day, and I'm so glad I was asked and I went.
I think that ever goes on one of these flights will be really impressed with the group, the organization of the Honor Flight of Southern Indiana. They put on a good show, I mean, for everybody. I think everybody really enjoyed themselves.
It's like a field trip, probably the best field trip I've ever been on. But we get to make friends with 21 or 22 new veterans because we get to talk with them, interact with them. I hear their stories.
I've had this experience also being the president of Rolling Thunder because I help veterans all the time. But this is even more impactful because they come back and they said it was just amazing because some have never been to Washington, D.C. before in their life. And they come back and they're all big-eyed and it's just unique to listen to them, listen to the stories about, and even their guardians. A lot of times they take their sons or their daughters with them, and they're even overwhelmed by what happens that whole day and how much stuff we put into one full day at Washington, D.C.
I'll tell you, it was quite an experience, and I know a lot of other people didn't have that experience, but I was blessed, I'll tell you.
Production funding for A Monumental Honor, celebrating the Honor Flight of Southern Indiana, is provided in part by Woods & Woods, an Evansville law firm representing veterans nationwide in their VA disability appeals. Woods & Woods is also the Tour of Honor sponsor for the 10th anniversary Honor Flight of Southern Indiana. Information at theveteransfirm.com. And other generous donors.